Every single day, millions of us are consuming political content. I mean, whether it's cable news debates, viral clips, podcasts, tweets, or just endlessly scrolling through reels, we are constantly plugged in. But I want you to think about your own scrolling habits for just a second. Have you ever wondered why the millions of posts and clips we consume every single day always seem to feel so emotional, so aggressive, and honestly, so undeniably addictive?
Well, what if modern political media isn't actually just about informing you? What if, at its very core, it's fundamentally about making money from outrage? Because the reality is, the angrier people become, the longer they watch. The more divided society becomes, the more engagement skyrockets. And in today's digital world, attention is literally money.
The business behind political media. Okay, let's dive into this explainer and uncover the hidden business model behind the media we consume.
Section 1. Politics as profitable content.
So how exactly did we get here? There used to be a time when the primary focus of news was just reporting information. It was about presenting facts and fostering relatively peaceful discussion. But today, politics has become content, and content has to compete for your attention. Television channels are fighting for ratings, social media creators are fighting for views, and platforms are fighting for your screen time. And because advertisers follow that attention, calm discussions are basically out and fast-spreading conflict is in. It's a system where peaceful information simply doesn't go viral the way a massive shouting match does.
Section 2. The psychology of outrage.
Why does this work so flawlessly? Well, it turns out our brains are actually biologically wired to react to perceived emotional danger. As humans, we react incredibly strongly to fear, conflict, identity threats, crisis narratives, and that whole us versus them way of thinking. It's literally an evolutionary survival mechanism. And political media systems understand this psychology perfectly. So instead of peacefully informing us, a lot of platforms actively use these specific psychological triggers to emotionally activate their audiences. They know for a fact that a perceived threat to our identity or a sense of ongoing crisis will immediately grab our focus.
So, the crucial point is this. Emotional audiences just do more. They click more, they comment more, they share more, and they stay online much, much longer. The media industry completely knows this. There is a direct, undeniable business correlation between activating your emotions and increasing their bottom line. It's simple math, really. More emotional engagement equals more profit.
And because social media algorithms are designed purely to maximize that exact engagement, they actively promote all that fear and outrage. If fear increases clicks, well, fear spreads faster. This pushes users into what we call a digital echo chamber. This is a totally isolated environment where you actually stop hearing different perspectives and you only hear content that confirms your existing emotions. Over time, in these isolated bubbles, opponents stop looking like fellow human beings who just have differing views, and they literally start looking like enemies.
Section 3. Algorithms and revenue streams.
Now, what's really interesting about this money trail is how the algorithm's psychological manipulation isn't some accident. It is purely a revenue-generating strategy. Political media is a business, and businesses need revenue. Take advertising. The longer viewers stay emotionally engaged, the more ads they are shown. Then there are sponsorships. Creators and networks get support from political groups or aligned businesses who really want to leverage that captive audience. And finally, subscriptions and donations. Loyal audiences financially support the voices they emotionally trust. In every single category, your emotional loyalty directly strengthens the business's bottom line.
Section 4. Selling fear and division. Let's look at the actual product being sold to us here. And honestly, it's fear. Fear is arguably the most powerful product in media because it creates this intense dependency. When people constantly feel threatened, they just keep returning to the exact same voices over and over again for emotional reassurance. Media systems constantly package this fear using very specific tactical tools: crisis language, breaking news panic, highly emotional thumbnails, identity fears, and really simplified enemies. And it is so vital to realize that these aren't always used because actual danger is immediate. They're used because fear keeps your attention alive. But there is a massive societal cost to all of this. Emotionally divided societies spend way more time fighting each other than questioning powerful systems. I mean, really think about that. A peaceful society asks the difficult questions about jobs, healthcare, education, corruption. But when we are totally emotionally divided, we just spend our time fighting tribal battles against one another. This division creates the absolute perfect environment for political branding to thrive, while the really complex systemic issues just get completely ignored.
Section 5. How we are manipulated.
These days, this kind of manipulation isn't just happening on cable TV. It's driven by influencers, podcasters, and networks that are essentially turning politics into entertainment. And it rarely starts with obvious, outright lies. No, it begins with emotional framing designed to bypass your logic entirely. First, there's repetition. If you hear something constantly, your brain just starts feeling like it's true. Second is fear amplification, which literally reduces your brain's physical capacity for critical thinking. Third is identity attachment, where information is tied to your group, so you feel compelled to defend it. And finally, information overload. By constantly bombarding you with crises, audiences become mentally exhausted and just stop verifying facts.
Now, I want to be completely impartial here. Not all political media is bad. Absolutely not. Independent, responsible journalism is totally essential to educate society and expose corruption. Investigative reporters challenge power, and they are vital for any functioning democracy. But the real danger arises with outrage media, which is where maximizing engagement suddenly becomes way more important than actually reporting the truth.
Section 6. How to protect yourself.
Okay, I know all of this can feel pretty dark, but let's move to how this builds into an empowering defense strategy that you can actually start using today. Step 1. Consume different perspectives. Never depend on just one single source of information. 2. Pause before sharing. Just ask yourself, is this actually verified or is it just emotionally powerful? 3. Understand algorithms. Remember that your feed is a machine designed to maximize engagement, not necessarily reality. 4. Support responsible journalism by rewarding creators who prioritize research over outrage. And 5. Protect human empathy. A simple disagreement should never destroy our shared humanity. Practicing this kind of media literacy is basically your ultimate rebellion against algorithmic manipulation.
Which brings us to one final, lingering question. The future of our democracy really depends on this. Can we still think independently in a world that is systematically designed to emotionally manipulate our attention? Because at the end of the day, the difference between being informed and being controlled depends entirely